I think that transitions well into the next point, and I'm going to let then, because we have people that want to add commentary to it, this will go perfect with that. So the next issue is just we're going to shut up now and AX roundtable discussion. What's good? What's bad? What's broken? What do you want added? What do you want removed? And let's just let SIRRUF, Soldier Sailor, and Katie take it away.
Okay. I have to mention this on behalf of Commander Dark Mortis at SKUNKWORKS. I love you, man. You're amazing. Okay, so he has been Odyssey. Odyssey visual effects are, the scale is weird. Like the Gauss rounds when they hit something, the explosions are massive. The plasma charger, which Mortis loves, hits the Goid, and the cloud is enormous, and it stays there for like 10 seconds. It's crazy. We would like that. I think he and we would really like that addressed, so that we can maybe start doing AX in Odyssey, which at the minute we don't do. We stick to Horizon. But little things like that would go a long way towards getting us to embrace Odyssey in space as well as on the ground.
Yeah, because what people might not know who haven't tried AX and Odyssey, the explosion effects are so overblown. There's some kind of scaling issue or something, but the interceptor can be entirely obscured by the explosion effects or just the weapon effects hitting the Theragoid. Like, you'll see a scout shooting at an NPC ship, and the explosions from the scout's individual rounds look like nuclear bombs. Like, it looked like the ship was completely obliterated because the impacts on the NPC ship are like 4 times the size of the NPC ship. There's something weird going on there. And with the lighting too, it's really hard to see now with the darker lighting. Like, so you turn on night vision, but night vision is kind of a pixely mess right now. So you most of the time we just fight in Horizons still because we can see what we're doing.
Yeah, today I did some fighting in a wing in Odyssey for the first time. And guys just told me, well, just turn the night vision on if you want to see anything, because there is no other way. Yeah, that's not how it should be.
We want the game, for anyone from Frontier is, obviously watches. We want the game to succeed. Like, we want to see everything progress, and we know you've got bigger problems to address at the minute, and that's fine. And to be honest, in the last update, for me at least, update 4, performance increase was enormous on the ground. It was night and day. But the weapon effect, the darkness, the anti-aliasing, and for those who don't know, what that means is that when there are fine lines in graphics, especially with high contrast, so with the darkness in Odyssey being much greater than the darkness in Horizons, the contrast between the night vision and the background, or the night vision and the Goid, the little lines, is so high now that it just, at any kind of reasonable range, it just becomes really pixelated. It's difficult to make out where the Thargoid's heart is, for example, or what kind of Thargoid it is. And these things do matter when you're fighting. So we know these are not like immediately necessary problems to address, but they would just an acknowledgement of them would go a long way towards instilling confidence in people who are quite fatigued at the minute. I think quite, we're not, when we're playing other games like Star Citizen, like No Man's Sky, we're not abandoning Elite, but we're falling out of love with it a little. And
Star
I hope that
Citizen. Sorry. Go on.
Oh, I just hope that things can start moving in a better direction, so that we can rekindle that love again.
Also, if anybody from FDev is listening, please fix the non-human signal sources. They're still broken.
Broken in what way?
No interceptors spawn in them right now. So we can't spawn single interceptors without going to like an AX conflict zone, but they all just ended. Or going to a mega ship and just kind of rolling the dice.
Yeah, they kind of do spawn in Odyssey, but not in Horizons. And we play mostly in Horizons because, I cannot say that it's an improvement in Odyssey for AX combat. It all looks worse. I know the graphics was improved in general. I have to say, in Odyssey, planets look dope. They look fantastic. I want to go exploring. But when it comes to AX combat, the Targoids, the explosions, this is all a backstep. This is not an improvement. It's made everything worse. The flag cannon also works worse. We have to use night vision, the NHSS, so non-human signal sources only spawn better Targoids, higher variants in Odyssey. So no, please FDev, fix it, and if you could, I would ideally see it reverted to Horizons.
Hmm.
Can I just say very quickly a big thank you to EF Crazy on Twitch. I'm glad the tutorial's been helpful. Keep at it because it's very rewarding. It's so much fun, and when you each interceptor is a hurdle, is a mountain to climb, but when you climb it, there's no feeling like it.
Beautiful. I'm going to ask a question that I asked of you earlier because it, like earlier in the week, it engendered some conversation. What if Frontier were to add an advanced AX play area that had a safe border to keep out noobs from accidentally stumbling in and getting hurt? They could unlock 20 or 30 systems in the Col 70 sector that you had to jump 200 to 300 light years to get to. So basically you had to either A, take the Frontier in-game shuttle bus, mega ship to get there, or B, hop on somebody's fleet carrier and aim for there, so that you had this area that's way harder, way more advanced, had non-human signal sources that would spawn, that would be, instead of just the standard, whatever, 1 through 10 or 1 through 9 or whatever. What if they had, here's an 11, here's a 23, here's a 36, and they all corresponded to some of those random table of hyperdictions? What do you guys think about the idea of that?
Sold.
Again.
I'll take it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I'll take it too.
Yeah. If I could go somewhere to give you some idea of what it's like jumping, the ace kill that I did that got me to number 4 on AXI's ace leaderboard, I was jumping for 24 hours. I recorded it. I looked at the footage. It was 24 hours of jumping before I got the combination of interceptors I wanted, and I got the summon right on the first attempt. If I'd got the summon wrong, guess it's going to be another 24 hours of jumping back and forth between the same 2 planets to try to get that combination of interceptors. So if you could put that somewhere in the game that I could, access reliably, I'd be on top of that. I'll buy all Braven. I'll buy all the arcs. I don't care how. I'll buy them all. Just.
Can I just add as well on top of that? Because I've been through, obviously, for my number 1 ace kill, it was I don't know the hours, but it was a month of jumping for several hours a day to find it. And as you say, the summon he referred to there is so the biggest hyperdiction combos are 4 Thargoids, and then you can feed them meta alloys to get more to jump into the instance. But you've got to do that in a very specific way. You won't get all of them to jump in. And if you get that wrong, it means that you got to go searching again. To add to that, though, how long was the fight after that process? How long did the fight last?
Oh, that was close to 3 hours.
So the thing is, if Frontier worried that by allowing access to these things, that we will play the game less, these fights are very long fights that you're getting involved. These. I mean, I've done a 10 Thargoid fight that was 4.5 hours long. I think Ewan and Commander Ewan and Commander Maligno of the AXI have 7-hour fights. Each of them have a 7-hour fight.
Mm-hmm.
If you make these things available to AX pilots, we will go and take them on because we are looking for those kinds of challenges. And that is the kind of, I know from experience from my channel that is the kind of footage and the kind of events, the kind of action that inspires people to get into the game. All you've got to do is make these things more accessible to them. Make the process of getting involved in AX or PvP or things like that more accessible at the beginning, and then make the continued access to it more accessible.
So an interesting thing about Elite Dangerous is that there's a lot of different ways that you can play the game. There's a lot of different things you can do. We have people like Operation Ida that they just do trucking stuff. We have, people like the disaster relief group that they go in there and they go into the burning stations and they help rescue people. What if Frontier were to add in some form of logistical support play that was directly tied to the not the station repair loop, but the AX combat loop, so that, for example, people that wanted to do trucking or wanted to do some form of maybe not just combat related ability. What if there was a group sort of similar to Operation Ida, but instead of repairing stations, what they did was they trucked materials from point A to point B, which then unlocked in a certain system some extra. Okay, here now all of the repair ammo is buyable by credits because these guys over here trucked it from A to B, or now this is a bit, like something is available, some way that they could support the AX gameplay loop through non-direct combat, through logistical support.
That is a really interesting idea, especially about as you say, another group of players using their logistical skills and enjoyment of logistics to then essentially seed another group of players who are involved in something else with the rearming or with the materials that they need to get things done. That I think, again, anything that improves interaction between players and adds meaning to being in a large organization. Like, we're in a massive fleet carrier, a fleet of fleet carriers, and yet we can't, in the entire human race, nobody sells iron for credits anymore. It doesn't make logical sense. It would make a lot more sense if there was a system in place. I mean, if short of just letting people buy materials, if there was a way for groups that are interested in that aspect of gameplay help other groups that are not interested in that aspect of gameplay, that would be great. Yeah, I would absolutely support that.
And to that same extent, there should sort of also be a way for people that like Thargoids and don't like the AX community. They should have an ability to, I'm trucking stuff to this area and it's going to make the hive stronger, or I'm going to truck, give people the freedom of choices and let it land where it lands. Roy, you had a thing on war and logistics?
Yeah, well, I mean, if history is any teacher, the way you win a major war is you have better logistics. It's all the stuff that leads up to the people that are on the front line. And, there's obviously a history of the Allied powers being excellent at that. And so if there is, I don't know, if there's something in lore coming, perhaps at a coming war with Thargoids, it certainly seems that there's a play for allowing what you guys just talked about, having lots of players who have other skill sets support the fighters who want to do the AX combat.
Imagine if, as I said, they unlocked something in the Col 70 sector, and now the AX community had a series of fleet carriers making jumps from A to B, people replenishing fleet carriers in the bubble, and then those fleet carriers getting out to Col 70 and unloading their shit for the AX community combat pilots. SIRRUF, you had a thing.
Yeah, that's a good point, Roy's mate. I wanted to maybe go in a similar direction. So when we have conflict zones, AX conflict zones, we had them recently. There were specific missions that you could take on the Aegis megaship, where you would get a reward both in cash as in materials. When you were to go and hunt a Thargoid, a specific type of Thargoid, according to the mission. So we were always wondering why those missions are not constantly available in places where Thargoids have always been available. So in Pleiades or Witchhead Nebula or Coalsack Nebula, where non-human sigil sources have always been since Thargoids first appeared. You can go hunt Thargoids in Pleiades since what, 2017. That's what, 4 years now. And there was never a mission available to hunt Thargoids and get any reward for it. Instead, you can just go and do, courier missions, go do some mining. Why not give us some missions where the reward would be materials that would be useful for an AX pilot? I mean, it would be ideal if the Thargoids could drop materials that are available for us to, for AX combat, that materials that we need actually. But those missions, that's a no-brainer. We should be getting them all the time. We are in a state, in a system where Thargoids are present. So we would like you to go and hunt them for us, and we will give you rewards for it. That sounds quite logical, doesn't it?
100%. And adding to to that fact, that's not how wars work. Wars don't work of, hey man, here's my whole army. They're here at this location. They're just hanging out, ready for you to attack them. Fight, whatever. We just said that there should be logistical support. There should be other non-combat mission roles for the AX spectrum of play. That should not only be extended to truckers. That should be extended to exploration pilots. What if you were to take a sort of, what do you call it? You go and you sort
Scouting?
of, yeah. Okay, so here's the thing.
Recon?
Yeah, no, wait. Let me. Here's the thing. They had in the alpha, they had AX missions on foot in stations. We saw that. Now they didn't. It was just an empty sort of bucket. They didn't fill it with missions because we're not at the stage yet where we get to see the Thargoids on foot. But we know already, because those on-station missions, they don't spawn, like ship missions don't spawn there. So that we're already guaranteed that we're getting Thargoids on foot at some point. How would it be if you had a whole spectrum of AX adventures where the Thargoids are attacking in this system, or they're attacking in these 4 systems, right? But like, it's not just you have to go and fight them in those systems and beat them to win. You have to find where their base is, and you have to go and flip the switch to turn off that base, kill that queen, do that thing, which then would sort of depower that base. And part of that is exploration pilots to go scouting around and use a whole sensor suites and whatever to find the underground base on a planet somewhere where they're coming out of, and electronic warfare, e-warfare pilots that are going to truck people on foot into the system, and on foot FPS combat people that are going to run around and play Starship Trooper and go into that hive and kick the hornet's nest and fucking kill the queen and get it out, while the AX pilots are flying around doing, fighting the interceptors and shit that are in the area to keep it all whatever. I don't know. Just all right.
You almost got me convinced to go play the game again, Kai. Holy shit!
Let's. We're way over time, so we're gonna have to kill this quick. But I want to just turn it back over to the Skunkwork guys and let them close this out with their thoughts on this or anything else. The story that's sort of stalling out on the Thargoids, the Thargoid heart glitch that the AX community has recently figured out a workaround for, but like years later, Frontier hasn't figured it out. Just anything you want, hop in.
I think that, so with the story, really quickly, I don't think it'll ever be catered to the AX community, really. The story, Frontier want everything to be an M. Night Shyamalan ending, when there's a big twist and, oh my god, this disappeared and all this. And the AX community want it to be Starship Troopers, where everything's straightforward and we have good intel and we go in, or bad intel, and we have crazy battles, and it's a lot more straightforward. Like the Alexandria disappearing, and the entire AX community was geared up for a fight. We were waiting for it to jump. What if it had just jumped and had just been attacked like crazy? We had a great time defending it first week. So I've given up hope on the story side, because you've got to gear some things towards the kind of people who are the mystery solvers, the explorers, and things. I get that, and I'm happy to concede that one if they make AX more accessible.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that if you play Elite and you've never tried AX combat, if you never tried fighting Thargoids, and you think that you're a seasoned Elite player, that means that you've not seen everything. You've seen shit, to be honest. There are those moments in your gamer life that you will always remember. And I had those moments in my life as well. Like when I played Final Fantasy VII, or when I played Total War games in the past. And I don't want to go and mention other games. I just want to make a point. When I soloed my first Cyclops, that was something. But when I soloed my first Basilisk, I was literally shouting. And I hear those stories all the time when I come across people that are just starting their ARX career, and they can be explorers, they can be players who have 5,000 hours in Elite. Everyone who starts to do AX combat is immersed right away, and everyone is blown away by how complex, how nice, how well made it is. And I would encourage every single person who plays Elite to try AX Combat. Give it a try and you will love it, I guarantee it. Okay, not everyone goes for it, not everyone gets hooked. It's a fact, I'm not gonna lie here, but it is worth a shot, and it is one of the best gameplays I have ever came across. And thousands of AX pilots can tell you the same thing. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
No problem. And Soldier Sailor, you get to close it out. Hop in and do it to it.
Just gonna kind of reiterate on what Surf said. Yeah, like if you haven't tried it yet, try AX Combat. Like when you solo your first Cyclops, it's a moment. And then when you solo your first Basilisk, it's a moment. And then when you solo your first Medusa, it's a moment. Because each one, like they all kind of look the same, except for maybe the Hydra. But it is a big jump in difficulty on each one. So you do your first Cyclops and you think like, oh, okay, now I'll try a Basilisk and it's going to stomp you. And you're going to be like, oh my god, what happened? And that's the progression all the way up. And then the Hydra is the biggest jump of all between the Hydra and the Medusa. But yeah, there's nothing like it. Like I'm just remembering it. I'm just getting that high back again. Like the first time I soloed a Hydra, it was like that's something I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life. And I would strongly encourage anybody who is even thinking about it to jump in and try it. There's plenty of resources out there on YouTube, on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're friendly. You can talk to us. We'll help you out. You know, just try it. That's all I'm saying.
Hell yeah. Katie Burns, hop in.
Just last thing, I would also recommend. I cannot recommend enough giving AX a go. If you're looking for where to start, join the AXI's Discord. They are the gold standard when it comes to teaching people how to fight Thargoids.
We all met there.
We all learned there. We that's where we came from. I also have a bunch of tutorial videos on my channel, Commanders Will and Kate, that show with 3D graphics and stuff the orbiting process. But do it. Just go and give it a go. That's the worst that can happen.
Beautiful stuff. I want to say thank you to everybody who stayed up so late to do this. I know especially you Euros, it's like well into tomorrow at this point. So thank you for hanging out with us. Skunkworks, thank you guys for coming in. You guys are awesome. I love all of you. After party's going on right now in the Elite Week Discord. Up on over. Ciao.